Welcome to Celesta University, Degrees of Depravity. CU is an adult game idea that was born in the Celesta Core forum and was selected by community members for development. It puts the player in the role of an agent who is working on behalf of the always secretive Celesta Core, an organization that's looking for resources that can be refined and resold to a global market that's always hungry for more product. In this case, that product comes in the form of beautiful young women. As the Celesta Core agent on the ground, your objective is to take control of Susan B. Anthony University, an all-female bastion of feminist academia, and then begin to convert the campus into a training facility. Once this has been achieved, you can begin enrolling unknowing young women, train them, and then auction them off. If you achieve your goals, you'll have established an ideal slave training facility that offers the perfect cover. In this video, we'll look at how to get started in the game and some of the features you'll encounter early on. Here's the welcome screen. Notice in the right-hand corner, there's a tab you can access at any time that links to various Celesta Core sites, a game design document that explains the thinking behind the game, but most importantly and helpful, a game aid that is a cheat sheet giving you costs, requirements, and impact of various actions in the game. There are also various resources you can look at that explain the game a bit more, as well as a prologue that gives you more info on why Celesta Core has assigned you this mission. The first decision you need to make is what to call yourself, as well as deciding what specialty your agent will have. The specialty you select will help you in different ways, from increasing chances of success with staff to increasing the value of the girls you train. For this walkthrough, we'll choose the Wireman specialty. You can also select the difficulty you choose from hard to sandbox. The harder mode you choose, the less time you have to complete the game. Once you've arrived on campus, your first appointment is with the President. The prologue explains why you're here. Celesta Core has generously granted the nearly bankrupt university enough money to continue to operate, and you are there as a consultant to ensure the money is properly spent. Of course, as much as they want the money, no one on the campus wants you there, especially the President. As a Celesta Core agent, you've been trained to identify weakness and to exploit it. You're a master manipulator with a variety of approaches that allow you to control targets. The player will spend much of the first half of the game hunting and controlling key staff members. Some approaches will be more successful than others. You'll have 3 opportunities to attempt to control a target. That could mean 3 attempts on one target, or 3 attempts on 3 separate targets. Since your first meeting is with the President, let's learn more about her. Taking control of the President is a top priority, because once you've bent her to your will, you'll have access to the university budget, which you'll need to begin designing a campus more suited for slave training than educating budding feminists. In her office, we have the opportunity to chat with her, check the intel files Celesta Core's provided, and access to surveillance data. You'll only see surveillance files if you've selected the Wireman specialty at the beginning of the game, or you've put a policy in place. We'll look at policies in a moment. Let's review her files. Because we chose the Wireman specialty, we automatically have access to info picked up by our surveillance efforts. As we can read, the President's bio gives us a general sense of what she's all about. Let's have a quick chat with her. Mousing over her, we can get more of a sense of her. Using your cursor will reveal a lot in the game, so try to explore the screen when you can. Let's check those surveillance files now. Spoiler alert, if you continue to watch, you'll learn something about the President that will give you an advantage in the game. Skip forward a bit if you want to avoid the spoiler. Okay, now let's see what our surveillance team has turned up. The wiretap on her phone reveals some messages that suggest an impatient woman that's ambitious and feeling trapped in her current role. Nothing too interesting. But what's this? It looks like the Celesta Core Intel unit has dredged up some revealing photos on a porn revenge site. That could prove most useful. Finally, we can see what approach our support team suggests. Sometimes they're right, other times not, so take the advice with a grain of salt. In this case, we have the goods, so we can confront the president openly. In other cases, you can try to bluff, but we don't need to do that in this instance. Let's threaten to blackmail the president unless she agrees to do our bidding. She does, and you know she's controlled when the collar drops. She'll do what you want, and for the rest of the game you may consider her your own personal secretary. Once controlled, a target never recovers her freedom. Also, her office now becomes your office, and you'll move the game forward by ending your turns in your new office from this point on. Let's move you in and see what the president's office looks like now. As you can see, the president is waiting to take your orders just like a secretary, and like a Celesta owned secretary, she's expected to dress to impress her new boss, no matter how humiliating the dress code. In your new office, you can do a few things. You can listen in to get a sense of how the student body is responding to the changes taking place. These will change as the changes themselves become more radical. Let's have a listen. When you've completely locked down the campus, you'll have the opportunity to check on campus news through alerts. Let's see just how you can lock down the campus by looking at policies. You can enact policies in your office. You can only enact one policy per turn, and you must enact them in order. Each policy requires the control of certain staff members, and the final policy also requires you to build a physical perimeter around the campus to ensure complete lockdown. Luckily, the only requirement for enacting the speech code policy is control of the president, which we have. Let's enact the speech code policy now. Once we've enacted it, surveillance is now possible over all staff members. There are other effects you can read about here. As you gain control of more staff members, you can enact more draconian policies, all under the banner of campus safety and security of the precious student body. I hope you found this Getting Started video helpful.